Welcome to Metagame, the gaming and media podcast from Spawn Camp Council, the six-man think tank that takes content to the highest tier of excellence. Tonight, we're giving you the hottest information on the latest games, so boot up, log in, and enjoy the show. This week, Captain Marvel or Shazam, who is also Captain Marvel. Call of Duty presses F. Warhammer has Wood, Elf. And Sekiro is Nero Perfecto, but we aren't talking about any of that crap tonight. Tonight, I'm your host, Adam12, with our co-host, Poop Shizzle, Solid Scorpion Z, Spectator, and the gamer you can count on to burn all the babies, King Dawes. Poop Shizzle, what you got for us tonight?
BioWare's in the hot seat tonight, and they're not handling it too well. So, you guys aware of a game that's called Anthem?
What's it?
I have played it.
Yeah, exactly. It's been kind of a blip on the radar. 55 on the Metacritic. This game was supposed to be a huge foray into the RPG looter-shooter genre that BioWare has kind of been absent from. I'm sure you guys, who all here has played Mass Effect?
Me.
Yeah. What's that face for?
You.
How about Battlefield?
Once.
Yep. And anybody play FIFA? I don't think we're any sports nuts here, are we?
When I was like 12.
Okay. Well, those are all major titles from EA. EA has a lot of companies that kind of under. One of them is BioWare, and BioWare is responsible for the Mass Effect that I mentioned, Dragon Age series, as well as help me out here because I'm not 100% proficient on the KOTOR stuff. Did they do all the KOTOR, or they just do the old?
Just one. They did one, and then they did Jade Empire. KOTOR 2 was done by Obsidian, I believe.
Okay. So yeah, I knew that wasn't 100% accurate on that, so I wanted to make sure I check with you guys. So they have a lot of story-based element games, excluding DICE's Battlefield stuff. That's EA, but I'm talking about BioWare. BioWare's proficient in story-based games. A lot of the Mass Effect is the original trilogy was heavily revered as one of the best gaming trilogies of all time, although not a lot of people appreciated the ending of 3. No spoilers here. But the ultimate stories that are told by BioWare are some of the highest revered stories to experience in the gaming industry. And then they step into what appears to be a big pile of dog shit that's called Anthem. So Mr. Jason Schreier, you guys are probably familiar with him, especially you, King. He is one of the big guys that, I don't know where this guy gets his stuff, but he is well connected. Oh, hop in there. What's up?
They stepped in a massive pile of shit with Anthem, but they came out of a big, huge, massive pile of shit with Andromeda.
Exactly, and you're foreshadowing exactly what I was going to go into. No, you're good. You're 100% accurate, and that's why I didn't really include that with the trilogy that I mentioned earlier. So I'm going to post in chat, anybody that's interested that's currently watching. This is the first article that came out earlier this week, and it basically blasts BioWare and their culture, their gaming process, development process, and basically everything behind closed doors that a company would not want exposed. And how many of you guys actually read the entire article all the way through? Okay. Just initially, what did you guys think of that? Adam, what did you think?
I think it's pretty telling. I think that, I don't want to spoil anything, but I think that there are probably a lot more companies that are doing that right now. I think with what we've read about Activision, with Bungie and things like that, that these people are they're pushing the last 2 weeks to get things done. And, we've seen so many games fail recently that it just turned out very badly because they didn't do the new beta testing, didn't do alpha testing well enough. And we had problems when we played that beta of Anthem,
Tons of problems. What about you, Solid? I know you raised your hand.
When I first started reading it, I'm like, all right, so this is going to tell me why BioWare has sucked since KOTOR. And I was completely right on it. I figured that there's I know that when Rockstar came out with GTA 5, they were demonized for their crunch period that they did, which it sounds like all of Anthem actual production was just crunch. And I don't know how people... I feel bad for all the people that work there, because I thought BioWare was a dope-ass studio. I mean, they made KOTOR, they made Neverwinter Nights, all the fucking... I'm not sure if they made all of the Baldur's Gates, but I'm pretty sure they made one of them at least. But I loved those games, and ever since KOTOR, it just seems like They just steadily gone downhill, and this article really explains a lot.
Yeah, it was definitely a huge foray into the life of a developer, especially for a AAA company or a AAA developing company, which is under a massive, game publishing company. And ultimately, I'm not going to go through the entire thing because this is a very lengthy read, but it is an incredibly insightful view of what it is to be in that high stress, high stakes environment. And one of the things that I kept coming back to was these people are artistic in nature. There are a lot of artists. There are a lot of creative people in there that are attempting to build a world at the same time. And I don't know if you've ever collaborated with somebody in a creative venture like that. It's hard to get on the same page. It's really hard because you have an idea, they have an idea, and you kind of want your idea to be the best and to be the one on top. And that seemed to be a big issue here. A lot of indecision early on in the development. This game was in development since 2012, I think, was the first whisper of it.
Yep.
And it didn't have a true identity. It still doesn't today, but it didn't have a somewhat decent identity until late 2016, early 2017. And to kind of put it into perspective, the demo that we saw at the 2017 E3, I don't know if you guys remember, that was the big reveal where they kind of flew down into the water and went around. It was super sexy. It was super cool. That was the first time that the development team actually felt like they understood what the game was supposed to be. And that demo was hastily put together in 6 weeks because one big EA exec over in Sweden said, this game is shit at Christmas time. We need to do something about this. And then they came back 6 weeks later and they made it as pretty as possible. And this is where you come in, Adam. They were just on the heels of Andromeda's big shit stain of a release and game just overall just did not perform well. So EA the booty holes were clenched and they needed something. And so a lot of people were looking to Anthem as to be that thing to kind of get them out of hot water. And it was so funny that reading the article, one of the directives on Anthem was to make this game unmemeable because there were so many people bashing Andromeda and just going to town. I think that's when the real meme kind of exploded on the internet. But it was funny how they kind of just were in damage control to try to get this game out the door. So anyway, just to kind of give you perspective, the game was in development for 5 years before it actually had a true identity. Went through several reiterations of story, had story people come in, had story people come out, leave. There was actually a death of a developer in the process of that. It was just a lot of stuff. And ultimately, this article comes out, and within minutes, Schreier puts this article out, and within minutes, Anthem or BioWare has a rebuttal, and they put out, I think it's like a 3.5 paragraph thing. I'm not going to read it as well, but I will post it in the chat. And I'm not a PR guy, but I've seen enough of this shit to happen that they should not have released this thing.
Nope.
They should have just closed their mouth and just rode that out. What do you guys think about this? Have you had a chance to read it? If you have, please.
Yeah,
Oh,
I read all the response. It was very much trying to save face. It was very much, it wasn't even thought out properly. Like they could have talked about a little bit more about like some of the changes they've already made. Like because a lot of the people that are reading the Kotaku article probably aren't even Anthem players, right? They're just looking at, okay, why is this game so terrible? They had a huge opportunity to put out something that says, yeah, it was terrible at launch, but here's what we've done so far. And instead it was, well, we know you are, but what are we? Like it was very much like, I don't know, like a middle school, elementary school playground argument.
Well, the final little thoughts there says people in this industry put so much passion and energy into making something fun. We don't see the value in tearing down one another or one another's work. We don't believe articles that do that are making our industry and craft better. So stop talking about us, please. Thanks.
Well, and when the Kotaku article cites source after source after source, that's not tearing you down. That's saying this is a fact. Yeah. Like this isn't our opinion. We've spoken to ex-developers.
With site sources, I do need to say that there were 19 anonymous devs and people that were close to BioWare that worked in conjunction with this project that were kept anonymous because of the nature of the article. But yes, I mean, the way that Schreier writes, because I've seen him in a lot of Destiny stuff and all that other gaming stuff, I trust the guy. He's straight to the point. He's he doesn't beat around the bush, which is really huge. I don't like that fluff that a lot of these journalists put in, and he comes at it straight on. I mean, even his live interviews, if you ever seen any of his live interviews, they're just right on. So I think I take everything he says pretty truthfully. And Adam, you said it right. This felt like Nana Nana Boo Boo kind of situation here with this BioWare rebuttal. And it was even funnier because just today there was another post on the Anthem subreddit where Schreier actually said, "I've spoken to several current and former BioWare employees since my article went live today, including some I hadn't interviewed earlier. General consensus has been sadness and disappointment at BioWare's statement, which reads as disheartening to those who hoped for change." So a lot of the article that you read, the original article from Schreier, was about all the struggles and troubles and trials and tribulations that were going into game devs, people having panic attacks, people needing stress breaks and all that sorts of stuff. And then BioWare releases this thing saying, "It's fine, we got this, you guys need to stop." I think this company is in dire straits. If they don't change something about their culture, no one's going to want to work there and no one's going to want to buy their games. I mean, this article is very exposing.
Also, what really sucks is that in the beginning of that article, they're kind of talking about how Anthem first started out, right? Started out as this game where you go, it was called Beyond. And they, the whole point of the game was to go beyond the city walls and explore and find new technology to bring back and upgrade your suits or whatever. And the whole point of the game wasn't like a looter shooter like it is now. It was just purely exploration and try and survive. And I was reading this article and I go, that's the game I want to play. That sounds fucking awesome. Like, why couldn't they just stick with that? And now I really, really hope some developer comes along, reads that article and goes, that's the next game. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's the fight against Bungie, I think, is what drove them to that,
This was slated to be the Destiny killer. And when Anthem had their big launch, which was the announcement, which was 2016 or 17, everyone said, this is the game that's going to kill Destiny. This is the game that's going to kill Destiny. And the only game so far that I've seen kill Destiny is Destiny. And,
right.
and until a developer can make that fine line between looter shooter and exploration, you're not going to see anything hit and miss here with Anthem.
I think what was eye-opening from that article for me was they went through 5 different story directors during the development of the game, right? Yep. So you think BioWare, you think deep story, rooted story, huge developed characters, main characters, big bad guys that have been developed properly throughout the story. Like, that's BioWare. That's what they're known for. That's why Dragon Age Inquisition is still an amazing game to replay today. And I think that we called it, I think a couple months ago, saying the game is beautiful. Anthem is absolutely stunning to look at. It's almost like they just didn't know what they were doing with the story and the direction of the game. And then to have Kotaku say, oh yeah, that's exactly what happened. They had no idea what the story was. It changed 5 times. To me, that's just kind of like, I don't know. It's very eye-opening to see a company like BioWare, because in Andromeda it was the same thing. They had 3 different story direction changes in the development of Andromeda. So it's like they didn't learn, even though they said they did. And as a result, they put out another subpar game, the second in a row. And gamers don't forgive very easily. They took a long time for them to forgive Andromeda. It's going to take even longer to forgive back-to-back.
Well, they're not going to trust the next thing that comes out. They're going to have to do something incredibly profound to earn the trust back, because you throw in all of the microtransaction stuff, you throw in all of the Andromeda stuff, you throw in the Anthem launch, and then you throw in this article. There's a lot of people that used to be hardcore BioWare fans that are literally going, I don't know what to believe anymore, because these games that I grew up on loving from this developer, I can't put faith in any of their future endeavors. And that's a big thing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was say that's what happened with Mass Effect for me. After KOTOR 1, which still blows me away whenever I play it. KOTOR 2 obviously wasn't them, but had some influence. But then Mass Effect came out, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's a hiding behind shit shooter. I can't go out and be this crazy Jedi or smuggler or something, or a robot that runs around and calls people meat bags. But then you get the cover based shooting in there, and then dude, what is this game? And I couldn't do it. And Anthem was the one game for me that I'm like, all right, this is BioWare's chance for to bring me back into their foray. And I haven't played Anthem since I got max level. There's just no interest at all. Period.
So I guess to kind of close out my section here, what would you guys need to see from BioWare to reinstall some faith?
That game they fucking described perfectly.
I think one thing I would love to see is something that Blizzard has done really, really well is their development updates that are basically YouTube vlogs explaining what they're working on. It creates the transparent communication. That's why the Overwatch community is so strong. Every month they have a sit down, and the lead developer and the lead writer and the lead graphic, design guy, they sit down and they discuss with all of the fans what the roadmap looks like, and they create that system of accountability. If we don't see that, then we know you promised us this. We didn't see it. The sales are going to go down. I think more companies need to get to that strategy. I would love to see more companies come out and say, hey, join us here every other Friday throughout the month. We're going to discuss development plans, our roadmap, the next 6 months, and just create that open transparency. And I think EA, BioWare in general, they really need to do that because they have zero faith in their fan base has zero faith in the crap that they're pushing out. Even Battlefield 5, same thing. Like, people are very upset about that game. They just need to do something like that where it's just a State of the Union and update every other week talking about what the roadmap looks like.
And what's sad about that is that Battlefield 4, it's still one of my favorite games of all time. Battlefield 4 would come out with something every week, and they'd say, we've adjusted the bullet drop on this gun. We've done this to the jets. We've done this to the helicopters. And they'd list every single change in their patch that they had done just to make it more accurate, more lifelike. This is how these guns are supposed to behave in real life, and that's what we're doing. And telling you every single bit of information they put in there. It wasn't a forum per se, but it was just like, here's what we did. We fixed this. We heard your complaints. We listened. We fixed this. We fixed that. We fixed that. And they would do that weekly. And, Battlefield, I don't know if you remember, like Battlefield 4 when it came out, you couldn't play the damn thing for almost 3 months because the servers were so bad. But they bounced back. They made a great game, and they kept in touch with the public. And it seems like EA or whatever's happened to EA in that time span, they've lost that, staying true and being transparent to the public about what's going on and how they're doing the game.
Adam, you bring up a good point about bouncing back because we've seen that more common in game releases than we've actually seen a quality title released at launch. You take Destiny had a rough launch and then it kind of bounced back with when like the Trials of Osiris era, that whatever, that House of Wolves, I think it was when that came out. And then Destiny 2, Forsaken kind of revitalized that one. Then Division, you kind of had, the crater that was in the middle of that game and its roadmap, and then it bounced back from there. And as sad as it is that we have to kind of accept that as the way that games are going, I think that's fueled by the money deadlines, the budget deadlines that game developers are crunched under, and shareholders are putting on the development companies. What do you miss most about games that were developed before that was the norm, and what would you like to see different moving forward in the gaming developing industry?
I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's a fair question. I don't think it's a fair metric. I think that people are more in tune now than they used to be as far as what games should be and shouldn't be.
Sure.
Reddit is a troll factory, and and you can take all that information and make something pretty powerful from it. And it's just not how it was. I think now with games, you just have to be in constant flux, and you've got to hope that you do something correct. I think the true test is what it's always been: have intelligent people behind the games, have passionate storytellers doing the storytelling, keep the same development team all the way through, make the game that you want, and then adjust it in small doses to help the public fit it. No Man's Sky, decent bounce back. Games like that where it's like, well, we've heard you. We're going to change some things, but it's still the same game. We're not changing the fundamentals of the game. We're not making anything really different. We're just going to fix some small things and keep going forward because we really believe in the idea. And they had no reason to believe in the idea. That game was totally fucked.
Yeah,
but they stuck.
And it was a small dev team too. That's hard to bounce back with a small dev team.
Yeah, but they stuck with it. And I think that's the key. It's like you have to take all that with a little grain of salt. You can't please everyone.
And now No Man's Sky is the game, the reason I want a PS4.
Yeah.
Because I want to play it on VR.
They also The other thing I think is important is listening to your fan base, right? Like No Man's Sky, it's exactly what they did. That was part of that fueled their bounce back, was listening to the majority of their fan base. These companies, they want to micromanage, they want to fine tune, but the people that are playing the game, like they're the ones that are going to continue to play the game. If they're giving you honest feedback, like, hey bro, this gun is overpowered, don't wait 8 months to fix the overpowered gun. Do it in a simple patch update. It's not that big of a deal, and if you overcorrect, then you can recorrect. But these Fortnite, Apex, these companies are so bad. Like, I'll get into it for my segment, but Apex came out and said, no, y'all are wrong about the Mozambique. It's staying in the game. And it's like, what the frig are you talking about? It's the worst game ever invented. So it's like, I don't know. These companies need to learn that the consumer is going to continue playing a game they feel like they're a part of. And when they're getting good feedback, they need to act on that feedback and instill it into the game as quickly. That's
and
what
that's the key word. Good feedback, because there's a lot of noise out there too.
Yeah, see, that's another problem too. Overall, I'm very excited about this. I'm glad Anthem failed. As I told you before, when we were talking about with Black Ops, Activision, and not the people being kicked out of jobs, of course, but with the whole microtransaction thing, all this stuff, I just think it makes gaming a lot better. The more AAA titles we have get destroyed like this, the better gaming will be in the long run. We'll get rid of microtransactions, maybe. We'll definitely get some better games coming out of it. I mean, you can't just start throwing corporate money at things and have them fail all the time, because even with the corporations, they're not going to want to have to be, bankrolling all this stuff that's going to fail. So at some point, somebody's going to come to the breaking point and say, we've got to do something and make something good. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's do it the right way. Let's bump it for years. We'll get into this later, but Borderlands, people begged for it and begged for it and begged for it and begged for it, and they never said shit. It's like, we never say anything. It's just like, oh, guess what? September, go. Bang. Yeah. It's just, you've got to just take your company, lock it down, make a good product, stick with it, keep a dev team, and then hope for the best. I think that the more games we have fails, that's just going to be a thing that we get to see in our lifetime. I'm really excited about it.
Let's not pretend that the gaming industry is alone with that. How many mom and pop-up stores do you see that go under and they learn from it, and then another company steps in and continues to grow? I think Solid's going to be really excited in 2019 and 2020, because I think, like you were saying, this is going to pave way to all these indie companies that are watching these too big to fail AAA companies that go under. And I do think we're going to see 1 or 2 AAA companies go under here in the next 2 to 3 years. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Well, that's all I got. I'm going to keep an eye on it, see how things go. Definitely shaky waters for BioWare in the next couple months and up to the next title they release.
So, coming to you initially, what do you think? Do you think that this is a commonality, this practice of push at the last second?
You mean with like the regards to like the demanding deadlines and stuff like that?
Yeah, just all over the
yeah, I think this is, and you hit on it, Adam, really well, is we are now in an information society where we get information at the touch of our fingertips in an instant. Like you said earlier, with earlier game development, we didn't have Reddit, we didn't have the internet as robust as what it is. And because of all those layers are peeled back and we can see exactly what's going on, it's exposing a lot of those commonalities that have already been established that need to change, and hopefully will improve the quality of the games that we get moving forward.
And the expectation hype. Like, one of the largest albums launched last year was Kamikaze by Eminem. Nothing had, like, no hype, no social media trade, no nothing. It was, by the way, I dropped a record 2 hours ago. Go check it out. And it was great songs. Companies need to start doing that. When they start announcing these games 8, 9, 10 years in advance, it's building the hype. And then people are building up these high expectations that the company can never meet, which means they have to throw more money at it. They need to increase their development team. And there's always going to be somebody that's unhappy with the game title. They just need to start doing what Borderlands did. Hey, by the way, tune in September. You're going to see something you're going to like. Like, they didn't talk about it much. They didn't hype it up. They just dropped a release date and walked away.
Even more so, look at Apex.
Yeah, exactly. Apex
literally came out of nowhere. Apex. Hey, we launched the game today.
Oh, we're launching Titanfall 3. Nope, it's not Titanfall 3. Like,
right.
It's a toaster or something, whatever they said it was.
All right. Solid.
Yo.
What you got for us?
Boy, do I got something for you guys.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
All right, so my job here is to play as many indie games as possible, but sometimes indie games get real big, like the one that I've been playing recently, that was announced on Thursday during the Gearbox presentation, I guess, called Risk of Rain 2. I had heard of the first one, never played it. I asked, as soon as I saw Risk of Rain 2, I went and downloaded Risk of Rain 1, and it's awesome. It's side-scrolling, platforming, shooter, roguelite. Risk of Rain 2 is all that except in 3D.
And it's so fucking good.
It's so good. Okay, so right now it's in early access in Steam. And most early access games are pretty shitty when they first come out, borderline near unplayable. I mean, DayZ was in early access for like 5 years, and the game is still basically unplayable. This game, I downloaded it on Friday or Saturday and was playing it, within the hour, and I haven't had one complaint about anything in the game, not a single thing. Everything is like super well polished already. Being a roguelite shooter, it's just absolute chaos constantly. So essentially you get one class to start out, which is the mercenary, or not the mercenary, it's Commando. Yeah, there we go. I can't remember all their names. I just call them by what their classes are. But you start with a commando and you're like, all right, cool, this is pretty cool. You got a couple abilities. Then you unlock the hunter, and then you unlock the robot, and then you unlock the ninja, and then you unlock the wizard and the fucking engineer, which is my all-time favorite class. And each single class has their own abilities, and they're very, very niche to a certain play style. But the cool thing is this isn't just a single-player roguelite. This is a 4-player roguelite. It's just beyond awesome when you got squad mates. Me and King have been playing the last couple days. Just every single time I'm like, hey, who wants to play some Risk of Rain? He's like, I'm here. We got Adam in there to play it. I'm pretty sure Sectator's going to get it on this. Like, we're going to hopefully get some stuff for YouTube. But so let's just talk, like, I'm not going to like give it like a full review yet, obviously, because it's an early access, but just some like review of the preview, I guess. Shooting is good. It all feels good. The abilities all feel good. It's a very simple artistic style. So it's very, what is that game? The Tabs, Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. It kind of looks like that, but just a little bit more polished, like a couple more polygons in there maybe. But as soon as you start up, all of a sudden enemies start spawning, and you're like, whoa, wait, where are these guys all coming from? And you have to dodge bullets constantly. You have to dodge enemies. Meanwhile, you're gathering experience to level your guy up to get more health and more damage. You're getting gold to go buy power-ups throughout the map. And the power-ups are the bread and butter of the game, because without the power-ups, you can't really do shit. Mm-hmm. Then you have to find the teleporter, which is essentially like the boss stage. You got to wait for this teleporter to charge up and kill these bosses, which can get insane. It's crazy. And my favorite part of the entire game isn't even the gameplay or being able to play with everybody. It's the music, the soundtrack to this game. The soundtrack to this game is like, I've listened to it probably 1,000 times already. I'll like just sit at work and have it on repeat constantly. It's so atmospheric and eerie, yet it's metal as fuck. Like, it's great. Yeah, Chode, get fucked. That's what would happen if Chode played this game with us. He would get fucked real hard.
There is a skill ceiling to it. I mean,
yeah, there absolutely is. I mean, we've been essentially just playing it on the easiest difficulty and getting to the last little stage, because so every so often the difficulty increases, right? It starts out at easy, then goes to medium, then hard, very hard, impossible. I see you. There's another one in there. Oh, insane is in there. And then the last stage of difficulty is just called ha 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 ha. I just keep saying ha ha across the difficulty slider. Yeah. And once you get into ha ha ha, it's game over. Like, unless you're completely OP, your characters you're going to die.
Yep.
You're going to die. But so, I mean, so far this game's $20 on Steam. I recommend going to buy it immediately and playing it. I mean, it's worth $20 just to see if you're even interested in it. If you like shooters, if you like roguelites, definitely into it. And it's an indie game, which is crazy. Backed by Gearbox, which is even crazier. I fucking love Randy Pitchford, and anything that has Gearbox attached to it, I'm all in on. So I guess that's kind of my preview of the review. We'll find out more. There's 4 more characters that are coming out. Obviously, the game's been out for less than a week. They had a first patch today, but there are 4 more characters coming. There's artifacts that you can get, so I'm guessing that you start with like power ups and everything. There's even a leaderboard for like a specific seeded run to see how fast you can beat the seeded run. And I haven't done those yet, but I'm sure you guys will be in there with me when I'm doing them. So, highly recommended indie game. Please go buy. Support this developer.
I was very leery of this game when I watched the Gearbox preview. It didn't really strike a chord with me, and then Solid twisted my arm into playing it. And the reason I enjoy it is that no 2 runs that you do will ever be the same. The levels are the same-ish. They have the same structure. Like each kind of world is going to have the same features.
Each world is actually handcrafted.
Yep.
They specifically made each world for that world.
Each and so different parts of the map are accessible in different parts of the run. So you'll enter this grassy area that you can get into, but then the next time you see that grassy area, different parts open and you can continue into that side. And so I like that kind of how it varies the map. The power-ups, like Solid said, are completely what make your character in that game. And one of my favorite games of all time, like the Binding of Isaac series. That's exactly how that game is played. And you start as just a little guy that shoots 1 tier at a time. But as you go through and collect these power-ups, you turn into this god of destruction. And that's the same thing with this game. You start out with just basic abilities, but as you start getting your power-ups and everything, you start doing more damage and being able to take more damage, and your abilities get increased. And so it's always fresh to me, which is super nice. The characters stay the same, but they always feel different depending on, you take these certain items and your build goes this way. You take these items and your build now turns into a full DPS build. So it's super awesome. It's held my attention here for the past 3 days, and I never thought I'd even give it a chance.
I usually give it a couple days when Solid recommends a game. I'm like, okay, he's talking about it today. Let's see what happens 2 or 3 days from now. So I bought the bullet.
Smart.
I just bought it before we started the podcast, so be good to go.
Yeah, you start out pretty strong. The Commando's pretty strong. It's a good character, good one to start with. The mobility in that game is fantastic.
Yeah,
that's another thing I really like about it, is that you don't feel like you're really limited. You can go just about up anything if you can find a way.
Unless you play as the robot. Oh god, the robot
wizard. Oh god, the wizard has 0 movement abilities, but is just a DPS cannon, which it should. But yeah, no. Well, when I was like describing it to people at first, I was like, yeah, it's kind of like Binding of Isaac, but in like full 3D. I mean, that's basically what the game is. It's Binding of Isaac, but like think Diablo. Think Diablo mixed with Borderlands mixed with Binding of Isaac. That is essentially what this game is. And is
there some synergy between the different classes and how you guys can kind of play off each other? Or is it just like each one has their own abilities and they really don't?
Kind of. I mean, like you can, as an engineer, you drop turrets and you can get like this big bubble like shield, right? Like a Titan in Destiny, and it goes away after a while. But if you drop those turrets and then you've got everyone inside, no one's taking damage for a while, so everyone can just unleash every.
The engineers' turrets can.
Yeah. So like you can all just get in there and be like, all right, this is DPS phase. And as soon as that bubble runs out, everyone scatter, and then one person can be like, all right, I'm going to stun all these guys. And then you guys lay down DPS, there's some synergies there. And I would imagine that as we get more characters unlocked, we'll probably have like healers and stuff like that. I imagine that the synergy, they're going to continue. Like, I know some of the feedback has been like, well, why can't like these characters like do this together? And I know that they read all that feedback, and considering it's in early access, I mean, the guy is still writing the music for the game, like as we speak. So I would imagine that as the game progresses and is developed, we'll start seeing more synergies through abilities. But like even as now, like there's not a ton. And I think that's because you can definitely play it single player, and you can go real far single player as well.
Yeah.
So I'd say there's a little synergy, not much, not like fucking
Destiny.
Like Destiny and Borderlands. Like, all right, we're all gonna lay down these things and then do this maximum DPS.
Right.
So there's a couple of those things in there, but like I said, early access, we're gonna see more. There's gonna be so much more.
It's a fun experience. You know, the main thing that I relate that to is that soundtrack. It's like Stranger Things, but cooler. You know, it's really cool. I mean, I was playing with these guys, and I was just like, I'm having a fucking blast here.
It's like a mix of like Metroid, Stranger Things meets some like Angel Vivaldi metal, like just fucking insane. And something I didn't realize until like I think yesterday or maybe even the day before, that when you're activating the teleporter, there's like this bubble that goes around that you have to be inside here to, you know, to continue charging the teleporter up. If you leave that bubble, all the music like kind of gets muted to the back of your headset, so you can't really hear it. And then when you go back into that bubble, it's full blast right in your face. So they really do a lot of like playing around with the music in the game for sure. So, and it just gives it that eerie, like, I don't know where the fuck I am feeling. I just got all this shit coming at me and I got to kill it. But yeah, so
what else you got for us?
I mean, Nintendo did kind of like a stream on Monday, but I got my heart ripped out on that one, so I don't really want to talk too much about it.
I was gonna say the first comment, you shared the link and I went to the first comment. It said, "Did we fool you this year?" I'm like, solid. You didn't fall for that, did you?
Like, so I'm watching this Nintendo Direct on April Fool's Day going, all right, it's going to be a meme. Like, they're just going to meme the entire time. And then they start out all serious. And I'm like, wait, this is Nintendo. They don't usually do that. They don't usually, like, joke around or anything.
And the first three were so serious, though. They're like, oh, we're going to relaunch Ocarina of Time for the Switch. It's like, well, they beat that horse to death, so that's possible.
Yeah, exactly. Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker. And they're like, oh, Metroid by the way. Right? Yeah. And they're like, oh, by the way, all the Zelda titles are coming out. I was losing my mind. And then they started saying, oh, yeah, we're going to have The Witcher 3. And we're going to bring out everything, including Wario's Exotic Spa or something like that. And Brazzers versus Pornhub.
And the longer you watched, the more ridiculous it got. But the first 5 minutes was like so legit.
Yeah, I was like, dude, this is a legit Nintendo stream. And then they started memeing themselves with the snaps. You get snapping over and over and over. There was one point where he's just like, what? And he does it, and it just keeps going. I fell for it so hard. Fucking Zelda gets me. But I know like a couple weeks ago they had a direct. They announced a fuckload of indie games. I honestly can't remember a single one that I saw on that stream. There's a list somewhere. I'll try and find it and post it in chat here while we're going. But lots of great shit coming from Nintendo. Oh, one thing I should mention. It has been leaked that there are 2 new versions of the Switch coming out. A high fidelity model and a handheld only model. Nobody knows what that is or if it's legit, but I would imagine it probably is pretty close to legit, especially the handheld model, because I know that they've been trying to like weed out the 3DS for a while because they don't want to spend so much money on hardware. And a high fidelity model would make a lot of sense. The only thing I would ask that they do for a high fidelity model is add a fucking Ethernet port.
Yep.
Somehow. Just give me an Ethernet port. I'm sick of using Wi-Fi.
I've got one. You can buy it. It's $20.
Okay.
I would also
USB Ethernet port. I've got one.
I would also like to see an optical audio out.
See, that's what I'm looking for because I want to get in my mixer.
Yes, and that would be huge because in order for me to stream my Switch stuff, I have to run it through a TV that does have an optical audio out where it splits. And otherwise, I have to buy an HDMI splitter, and I'm not going to.
Why don't you just stick a 3.5 in the top of the Switch out of the headphone jack? That's why I did. I run a 3.5 into my mixer.
Because that's analog. I'd rather have it digital. It's a little bit cleaner.
Yeah.
So, but that's just me being a snob. But I have a question about the handheld one. Is it all just one piece? Because I do feel like when you put the Joy-Cons on, it's real flimsy.
Yeah, I think that was like one of the big parts of it was that. They don't to keep costs down. It would just be one solid piece. It'd be kind of like the 2DS. I remember seeing something online about them talking about a handheld only mode or a handheld only console, and it'd be very similar to the 2DS. None of the extra gimmicky stuff, just straight up 2 screens and everything. So I would imagine that it's going to be, one central whole unit without ability to dock at all, just a handheld.
I would even sacrifice a little screen size just to get just a little bit. This is where it is now is a little too wide. I think just a little bit less would be a perfect handheld.
I agree.
Yep, I agree. But I think in a high fidelity model, also they're 1080p, 60 frames a second. I would assume that they'd be able to put new Tegra graphics chips in there and new Snapdragon CPUs, because I think right now they only have like the 802 in there, maybe the 804. I'm pretty sure that they've had some new ones come out in the last 2 years. So a new upgraded Switch is definitely something I'd be looking forward to.
Yeah, on to the throwback category. Looks like Sectator's back to being a Battle Royale enthusiast.
Yeah, got to with some of these. I was going to say back to my roots, but yeah, so you guys probably saw the news going around. Fortnite breaks Fortnite streamers playing Uno on stream, like all that crap. So a lot of it's overhyped, right? So Fortnite did a major change with their patch last week, and basically it hadn't been around that long, but about 6 weeks ago in an update they did what's called Siphon. So if you get an elimination, you would gain 50 health, whether it was shield or health, whatever you needed, you would gain from executing a player. You would also get 150 mineral or materials, 50 brick, 50 wood, 50 metal, and it decreased the overall material from 1,000 to 500 for each category. So the purpose behind this is Fortnite's still trying to find that perfect balance between the new player and the pro player, people that are competing, top 1%. And their thought process behind this was, right now in Fortnite, the way it was, when you shot a player, they would just build 800 feet straight up into the air, not worrying about materials because they had 3,000 materials to build with. So they got rid of it. It made a lot of people very happy that they did the changes. Well, last week they reverted the changes back, but they also issued a ranked mode called Arena. You can participate in the arena. You gain hype points based on your performance. So if you get a placement matches, you get points. You get eliminations, you get points. And then the higher you go, the more you lose. So like you start off not losing any points for playing a game, and then when you get to where I'm at right now, which is like 275 hype points, it costs you 3 points to play a game. So they released the arena mode and they reverted the casual mode back to normal. And people like Ninja, who quite frankly clout farm, they go into these new casual servers by themselves, get 50 kills, post it on YouTube, get 80 million views. They're the ones that are really pissed off by the change. The everyday streamer isn't, because what Fortnite's really trying to do is they're just trying to create a safe space for new players, because right now they're losing a lot of those new players. Fortnite's been very quiet about it. Usually when the community outrages out and Ninja calls them out and stops streaming the game, usually within a few hours they have a Reddit post or an AMA section. Fortnite hasn't said anything yet about it, so I think they're really trying to get people to play Arena. That's what happens when you
cheat on your girl.
Yeah.
Apex.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Yeah, it'll be interesting. He got 1.5 million for streaming it for 2 weeks. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I'm pushing comp. I've been trying to qualify for tournaments. The benefit of Arena is you do qualify for tournaments through the Arena. So if you get 300 hype points, you can get to a point where they're pulling people that are the top 0.5% of all Fortnite players to play in their World Series Cup that's coming up in a couple weeks, where you can play for $30 million or $5 million or whatever it is. So they're doing a lot of good things, but I think right now it's one of those situations that we've talked about in the past where players or people in general, Reddit farmers, are jumping on the I hate what's the best battle royale at the moment. And that's kind of what we're seeing, is just the outrage growing. So that's it for Fortnite. Kind of similar to that, Apex is also not in a good spot. I talked about this on my stream last week, but they did something, it wasn't in their patch notes, with the way the bullets and body armor damage works. And it's to the point right now where if somebody has a purple or gold body armor, they just don't die. And it's really annoying. They're nerfing bullet damage, or they're buffing armor damage. They're not communicating it, so it's creating a lot of angry players. I had an experience on stream last week where I put four bullets into a guy's head with the wingman. He ran behind a clip, ran behind a wall, re-healed, came back. I hit him twice in the head with a peacemaker. He ran away, re-healed, came back, and then ended up killing me. And I'm just like, dude just took so much damage to the face. So they have adjusted something with their balance. It's actually ticking a lot of people off right now. Bullets aren't doing as much damage as they used to, and they're not being transparent with that communication, which is really making a lot of Apex players mad. Shroud raged about it. Ninja was raging about it. Of course, I think that's just what he does now. But a lot of the bigger Dr. Disrespect went on a 15-minute tangent about it. So Apex is really getting into a spot where they're losing that transparency with their streamers and their community, and it's not making people very happy. They made a comment with the Mozambique I referenced earlier, where they said, "You guys want us to buff this gun? It's exactly where we want it because we feel that this is a gun that does good in the early game, and then as the game progresses, you should be replacing." Raise your hand if you've ever gotten a kill with Apex with a Mozambique. You're a liar. You're both
by
liars.
accident.
Yeah, it was absolutely by accident.
Yeah.
It's a terrible gun, and they're like, now they're not taking the feedback. They're saying this gun's exactly what we want it to be. You guys just have to learn to deal with it. They're nerfing the weapons. Wingman just got a second nerf in the last month. So
Which it should.
See, I don't know because the nerfs they're doing don't impact the game that much. Like they nerfed the reload time. Like you get a legendary extended magazine with the heavy for the heavy rounds.
13 rounds.
13 rounds. If I can't kill you in 13 rounds with the wingman, I don't deserve to be having the wingman on me.
Shoots 45 to the body.
Yeah. So it's a weird spot, and Apex people are getting really upset. Apex fell out of the top 3 a couple times this week for streamed games. So it'll be interesting to see how they counteract. The reason they were big is because they did the secret launch. They had a lot of streamers playing it. They were very transparent and open with their roadmap. They let us know exactly what was coming on. And it seems like the longer the game goes, the less transparency we're seeing, and that's ticking a lot of players off.
It's because they're figuring out as they go too. I mean, you can't predict a game much more than 6-8 months most out. Yeah. After that, you're just you're figuring it out as you go, and you're trying to stay ahead of the people. That's all you're doing. And
especially a live game like this.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. To be honest, it's just the world is constantly being created and evolving around this game. So
I still like it. I played last week. I think I played like 22 hours of Apex. I'm still enjoying it. I'm still having fun. But there are moments where you're in the final circle, you pop a guy and you see the gold numbers pop up, and you're like, yeah, we lost. Like, I don't even have to shoot you again. I'm just going to sit here and let you beat on my face because I know as soon as I hit you and I see those gold numbers that there's no way I can beat you. No way at all. So there is a balancing issue. There's a tuning issue. They need to figure it out. I still enjoy playing it. It's still fun. But, yeah, the transparency is key. Why? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's my next part of it. So if you guys updated Apex today, you're going to see a completely different game than when you logged in yesterday because all purchases, all progression, battle pass progression, everything was wiped clean with the last update. And this I don't think is going to be an easy fix. I was watching this on Twitter. PUBG had something similar happen, but they were able to revert back, and they were still backlogging the purchases, so it didn't really impact that many people. I think Fortnite had a similar issue back in September. Apex tweeted out today, if you have no items in your inventory, do not spend money in this game. We cannot track it.
Ouch.
Division 1 ran into this problem too. When you crafted a backpack, it erased everything that you had.
Remember that?
So
oh my God, everyone lost their minds.
To me, that says they don't know what happened. At least like PUBG tweeted out when it happened to them, hey, just so you know, we have it on our end, you're just not seeing it on your end. Fortnite said the same thing. Apex literally said to I can't remember how, it was a big number, it was like 30-40% of players, do not spend money. We cannot figure out what's going on. Like, we cannot track whatever you spend today. So, yeah, there's that. That's good. That's good for profits.
The progress and everything. The Legends Unlocked and everything.
Yeah, everything.
Right.
Well, there's a game I'm not playing for until they get all that shit back.
Yeah, so like, I just dropped 1200 Renown or whatever it's called on Octane. Picked up Octane. And if I were to log on now, I would not have Octane. So, yeah.
Apex is getting shelved for now.
Yep.
So I've been monitoring this off and on all day today. The tweets have been basically the same thing. We understand the frustration. Please don't spend money on our game right now. That's probably not something that a company wants to be tweeting out.
Shareholders love to see that.
Yeah.
Stocks just took a 3-point drop.
So we'll
Jeez.
make sure to keep you guys updated through the Spawn Camp Council at Spawn Camp Co on Twitter as that thing gets launched. I know we're trying to get more active on there, so we'll try to keep you guys posted. But yeah, Apex is in a weird spot. Fortnite's in a weird spot. PUBG's barely living, and not sure what else Battle Royale has to offer. Black Ops 5, their Battle Royale sucks. Absolutely terrible.
It's so bad.
Dr.
No one has anything negative to say about Minecraft Battle Royale, though.
Dr. Disrespect was given a sponsorship to play Battlefield 5 on stream. He played one game and uninstalled the game on stream. So, yeah.
Oh, the Battle Royale?
Yeah,
it's terrible,
it's
dude.
absolutely
Dude,
terrible.
didn't he? Okay, I was watching some clip of him, and he just hit a sniper shot, literally out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Just kills the dude and wins the game, and that was it for him. He said, "Fuck it."
Nah, so I think he later on, him and Shroud were playing together, so I think he later on went back and reinstalled it. That's his thing. Like, Ninja blows up and calls kids like cheaters. Dr. Disrespect just uninstalls the game on stream.
Epic.
Yeah,
But yeah, he's literally hyping it up all day. I have a special sponsored stream today. You guys are gonna be excited about it. It's Battlefield 5. He plays one Battle Royale and then uninstalls it and goes and plays Fortnite. So that's how bad it is that this guy literally gave up a paycheck
to play Fortnite,
to play a different game. So it's in a weird spot, but we should see what the Battle Royale genre has to offer as it continues to grow. We have such high hopes for it. If you guys remember back in October, November, we were talking about Call of Duty Battle Royale, Battlefield Battle Royale, and then the only one that's ever taken a dent in the Battle Royale genre has been Apex so far, and you currently can't play the game or spend money on it. So
Is the Battle Royale genre declining?
I don't think so.
No, it's just in a lull right now because you've got you've got Fortnite, you've got Apex, and you've got COD. I mean, those are basically the only 3 battle royales that are doing anything right now. I mean, nobody. I don't really know anyone that plays PUBG anymore.
Yeah.
I don't really. I mean, Battlefield Battle Royale looks like garbage. So, I mean, what else is anyone going to play for Battle Royale?
They can only push out at like 600p. It's not even 720p because of servers and. Yeah, there's like a bunch of glitchy stuff on launch day.
The Battle Royale genre is saturated right now.
Yes.
I mean, it's at the point of saturation. So I think any more is going to start putting it into that. All right, I'm over it. I mean, I'm already over it personally.
Oh, cool. Another racing game.
Yeah, exactly. So I honestly think that we're at that point of saturation to where much more of it's going to become overkill.
I think Dr. Disrespect worked in the gaming industry. I don't know if you guys knew that. He worked on Call of Duty. He did a couple stuff.
Worked on my favorite one.
Yeah, Call of Duty Ghost or
no.
Advanced Warfare.
Advanced Warfare, the best COD there is.
Ghost.
Fucking Ghost.
Hey, you say what you want about Ghost, but at least you could hear it once you killed somebody.
So he said that a lot of his friends within the developers that he still knows are saying the Battle Royale genre is here to stay. I agree with that. I think everybody was wanting it to die when Fortnite hit its peak last year, and then you had the AAA companies jump in, and then they were begging to get murdered again because Call of Duty sucks and Battlefield sucks. And then this year you saw I think if it was declining, you would not have seen the resurgence Apex had. I think it's just waiting for good companies to put out good games. And when Apex can literally bend over their player base, or Fortnite can bend over their player base with a strap on and still get 36 million players, I think that says a lot about where the genre is. They just need competition. They need good competition.
But the genre is going to need new ideas pumped into it because the base idea of Battle Royale is old. And that's how Apex has been able to do what they're doing. And they're going to have to put twists on it. They're going to have to put their flavor, whatever, into it in order for it to be successful because it's going to get drowned out by all the other battle royales out there.
Well, and you got games like Spellbreak. Well, Spellbreak is pretty cool. I've talked about it before. It's class-based battle royale. So you have a wizard, you've got a tank, you've got a paladin. You actually move super fast. Each class has unique 4 abilities, kind of like a MOBA. It's a really cool game. It's an Epic Store. It's really cheap too. I think it's in early development still. You're gonna need stuff like that where it's mixing a couple different genres together. Luckily, we don't have to worry about Borderlands 3 having a battle royale, because I believe they came out and already said, "Don't worry, there is no battle
First thing they said.
royale." So that'll be interesting. The last real topic that I have is Epic Games, the not Fortnite related, the actual store. What's going on? They poached Division 2 off of Steam at the last second in the twilight hour, and now they have announced that Borderlands 3 will officially be through the Epic Store.
Metro too. Right?
They got Metro.
Metro, yeah.
Yep. So you got some of these bigger games. You've got Spellbreak, which I already mentioned. They're taking that 1.5 billion they earned last year off Fortnite and really trying to compete with Steam with some of the stuff that's going on.
Dude, Super Meat Boy Forever is going to be only on the Epic Games Store until 2020.
Yep.
It's not even coming out on Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, nothing. Only Epic Games Store till 2020. That's insane.
Yep. So the big reason is money, right? So like these indie game companies, they have to give such a huge percentage to Steam. And when you're paying $20 for a game, like ROR2, like we were talking about, you don't want to really give up 65% of that to a Steam store when you can go and Epic is like, hey, we'll do it for 30%. You just have to sign a 4-year contract with us. It's literally, from what I've heard, in some cases, half of what other companies are charging to be housed on their site. So do you guys think Epic is actually going to put a run at this and compete with Steam, or do you think it's like just kind of, because these are some pretty big games that are doing it?
I think they already are. At least they're opening the door for competition.
It's not even close to enough.
Steam is far too ingrained in the gaming community to ever go anywhere.
It's ingrained, but it has a lot of shit titles on it. It has a ton of shit titles on it. But the thing
that's part of the joy. Oh, go ahead, Zed. I'm sorry.
I remember a discussion about Netflix long ago that we said the same sort of things. Like, yeah, they were first, they're biggest, and they're fucking taking it in the ass.
Yeah.
But that's because they don't know how to put out their own content. That's why.
Right.
Whereas Valve knows we've got all these other people that are just trying to get games on PC. All we have to do is just be here. Like, there's so many other platforms exactly. There's so many other platforms to release your media on that you can just stream it. But whereas games go, you want one central spot where all your games are to be able to play. I don't want to have to launch the Epic Game launch of the fucking Steam store,
Blizzard
the
launcher.
EA store, the Blizzard launcher. Like, I don't want all these fucking launchers on my computer. They just take up room. Yeah. Whereas Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, like, they all offer something very unique and different. And that's why they can all kind of like succeed. Whereas the Epic Game Store has like 20 titles on it so far. Yeah, a couple really big names, but I don't think it's enough to really do anything at this point. Maybe in a couple of years, but
I see Steam. I literally see this comparison as Steam being the Android market and Epic being the Apple Store. Sure. Yeah. I have not played a single game on Epic where I've said this game is absolutely trash. Not a single one. You guys will cheese me and say Fortnite, but there's not a single game on the Epic Store that is just garbage. I can literally play any game that they have to offer. Whereas Epic,
wait, did you say Fortnite? Because that game's trash.
Whereas on Steam,
in your defense, Spectator, Fortnite is a solid game. It's just not a game that I enjoy.
Yeah, I like the battle royale genre. It is the most streamlined. It's the best battle royale genre right now. Or the best battle royale in the genre right now. So,
but I agree with you. Epic seems to put quality titles right out front.
So I know if it's on Epic, it's gonna be good. The Division 2, okay. I got burned really bad with the Division 1. I was one of the 90% of the players that stopped playing in the first 45 days of the game. But I saw, Epic's getting in bed with this game. Okay, it's going to be good. I bought it launch day. Same thing with Spellbreak. All these other games I've been, hesitant about. And as soon as I see them sign on with Epic, I'm like, yeah, I'll download it. I'll buy it. Whatever. Whereas Steam, you're kind of like, let's wait a couple days and let the reviews start coming in. Because anybody and their brother can create a game and throw it up on Steam. It's not that hard to get approval for that.
Well, and I come from a different perspective. I'm playing a game that's on Epic only right now. They have an exclusivity with this game called Satisfactory. It's basically a base factory building game. Whatever, you can think what you want. I don't give a shit. But the thing is you go on and you look at what people are saying about how it's only on Epic, and there are people crying in the streets because they can't get it on Steam. They are literally just like, I refuse to pay any money because I can't get this on Steam. And I think that's hurting the gaming community as a whole if you have that approach. If it's a quality game, you should seek out to go play it. I mean, just stand up with your pitchforks because it's not at your specific store doesn't mean it's a bad game. I don't know. It's just it's. I think it's a trend. I think Steam. It's going to be interesting to see what their summer sales look like. I wonder if they're going to really kind of change that formula a little bit, maybe amp it up a little bit more than. I mean, it already is kind of on fire as it is, but it's going to be interesting. I'm really curious.
I think if Epic can find a way of partnering with Humble Bundle, I think Humble Bundle drives a lot of sales for Steam right now. It'll be interesting to see if they get big enough where they have 150 games and they start doing these Humble Bundle packages where you pay $5, you get 10 Epic games. I think that'll help drive sales a little bit more too.
I don't think that's their push, honestly. I think Epic's going to try to be, like you said, the Apple. I think what's going to happen, though, in my opinion, is cartridge will take up all these shit titles, suck them up from Steam, and then people start putting their small indie stuff on cartridge, and then Steam will be there to battle Epic eventually when it gets to that point. That they'll be fighting over the
cartridge.
titles. Yeah.
What's cartridge?
I'll put a post in. It's a sort of an indie-based Steam.
How the fuck did I not know about this?
I've told you about it 3 times already.
Probably, but I don't listen to shit.
You're getting schooled.
I gotta read it.
Our indie game guy is getting schooled by our host in indie game titles. No. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think competition, we've said it several times, competition breeds the best product. I think Epic's really targeting these, and the fact that this is the most planned out Epic launch, like Division 2 was in the twilight hour, Spellbreak was in the twilight hour, Metroid was in the twilight hour. This is like, hey, by the way, come check us out. In 7 months, we're gonna have Borderlands 3 on our thing.
Also, Epic does have those free games every 2 weeks, and they're not bad games. You got Subnautica, Super Meat Boy. I think right now it's Oxenfree or something.
Oxenfree's fantastic.
Yeah, and I don't remember what the next game that's coming up that they're giving away, but I'm like, oh shit, I gotta make sure I log in and get that game because that's a really good one too. But I'll have to look and see what it is.
The Witness, or is it already?
It might be The Witness, but I have that already on Xbox, so I wouldn't get it. Maybe it is The Witness. I don't know. All I know is that they are giving away free games that are quality, not just shit games.
They have Far Cry Primal on here, Watch Dogs 2. Let's just start.
What's the free one that they're giving away? Not now, but after Oxenfree. Doesn't it list it on there? Like, hey, and
these days it's. I just saw it. What is it? Store, The Witness.
Oh, it is Witness. Okay, Yep. I probably won't get that just because I have it on Xbox. It was free. I think Xbox Gold. Yeah.
I'll just.
I think so.
I'll just start whoring out my Epic Games affiliate link.
There you go. Do it.
All right. Is that all you got, Secretary?
That's it.
Okay, King Dawes, tell us about some D&D.
Fucking great. Now that all the boring shit's out of the way, let's talk about D&D. And last week, I asked a question. Solid, you weren't here. I want to get your opinion before I give an answer. Every week, I've been doing a What Would DM Do? And this is what everybody here thinks an official ruling should be. I then back that up with Jeremy Crawford's official answer from Wizards of the Coast. Last week's question was the spell counter spell, which literally is what it is. It counters the spell, either negates it, shuts the effect down, whatever. If the wizard in the group casts a spell, the sorcerer on the other side counter spells, can that counter spell then itself be counter spelled by an additional party member in the attacking group? I don't remember everyone's answer. I think Adam, you might have said no.
I said no because, I mean, you're casting a spell as a single turn. The counter spell is a reaction, right?
Yep.
How would I cast twice? Because technically still my turn.
Right.
Unless it's... Yeah.
Poop said shrug.
Yep. Let's
make it real easy for you. If I throw a right jab and you try to counter that right jab, can I counter your counter?
Sure, you got another hand. Come at me, bitch.
Let's imagine there's only one hand here.
So now we're a bunch of paraplegics throwing punches.
So yeah, we're a bunch of handicapped kids.
Solid's answer is no. You can't counter a counter. No. Spectator, I think you
can't triple stamp a double stamp.
No, as well.
I think I said as the douchebag DM, let them use all their stupid spell slots before the boss battle.
That's what you said. That's exactly
All
what
right.
you said.
So all of you are somewhat correct. Sectator is more correct.
What?
The official ruling
Suck
is
it. No.
timeout. It's a little tricky because one-on-one, two casters, you cannot counterspell the counterspell, because if I were to cast a spell, that is my spell casting action. If Solid were to counterspell that with his reaction, that is his action on that turn. And I cannot use a reaction the same turn I use an action. So one-on-one, the answer is no. But the caveat here is if I have party members, they can counterspell as their reaction as many times as party members there are. So you can
the spell's not cast at them?
Yep. So what can happen is I can cast a spell at Solid, Adam will counterspell that, Sectator will counterspell Adam's counterspell on my turn, and it will ping pong back and forth until either my team has the last counterspell and my original cast will hit, or the opposite's team will last counterspell and it will negate the spell. So it is doable as long as you have enough party members. If you outnumber the other side, great.
Then after
it makes sense.
After all their spell slots are used, Tiamat rises from the ashes of the battle.
Well, it's only one spell slot. And it's just all it depends on is how many people you have in your group, because you have one reaction. It's just that's it. So if you have 10 guys and they have 9, that spell will succeed after a long back and forth of ping, 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 ping.
What are we throwing back here with these 19 guys? What's going on here?
So that is the answer there.
It's called Spellcocky.
Spellcocky.
Spellcocky. Oh,
I think that is the official ruling of D&D was Spellcocky is allowed. So yes.
I just want to say that my record in this game is actually not bad for some of the.
No, you're doing really well, dude.
Yeah,
you're doing really well.
He's like, yeah, let him breathe fire.
Sure, whatever. Pick up that shield. +1 dick size. Go.
Right.
I don't care.
Nailed it.
Well, I fucking lose. God damn it.
So my next question to pose to y'all, and also in chat and Twitter and everywhere around YouTube, and this has come up, I believe, in our campaign that we're running right now. Check that out on YouTube. Casting Speak with Animals. Your druid in the party casts Speak with Animals so he can talk to an owl that already speaks common.
This is a meme.
Whoa.
This is a meme in our D&D session.
Where are the water elementals?
So say this owl does not speak common. And I use
what
Speak
is common?
Common is common tongue.
Okay.
Just think of it as English.
Yeah,
So
one of our players, like, I had a character at NPC that was a shapeshifter, and so he was like, it was an owl at the time. He's like, I like to cast Speak to Animals. I'm like, well, you want to just fucking talk to it?
The owl's like, I hear you, dude. It's right here.
But
he's like,
after you said all of that, he still casted it.
Yeah.
I know. I said, you guys hear this guy or what?
Yeah.
The owl's talking to everybody.
So
What the fuck's up with this guy?
So had that owl not known common and you needed to speak owlish to him, after you can speak with the animal, can you cast a spell such as command or suggestion to that animal?
Yes.
I say no.
I say no.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Same way you can't just
So Poop, to clarify for you and anyone else who doesn't know what these spells are, command and suggestion allow you to impose a action on another creature and have them do something. So if I cast command on you and tell you to slap your party member, you have to do it as long as you fail your check. So that spell only fails because either the creature can't understand you or they make their successful check. So me being able to cast Speak with Animals, does that allow me to then cast those kind of spells to that animal? So Solid says yes. Adam and Spectator saying no.
I say no because the Speak to Animals is duration, right? And it's a spell, just like it's its own spell. So it's kind of like, I try to persuade you to give me the gold. No, I'm not giving you the gold because you failed your roll. Then I want to intimidate you to give me the gold. It's like, you can't do that. You can't just like fuck up one and then keep going down the list. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, do you have to speak to the animal to still get them to do your will?
Yes. So you'd have to speak to the animal.
So you're literally persuading. You're not commanding the animal. You're persuading them.
Well, command, that's suggestion. Suggestion is like a persuasion almost, right? But it's a little
Then
bit
what
more
is
powerful
command?
than persuasion.
Command is your
Command
tone.
is, I tell you to do this, you go do it. Done.
But they have to be able to
Unless-
speak the language of said target.
Yes. So like if I were speaking to, let's just put this in like weird.
Okay, so you can't tell us. So
situation.
you don't speak Spanish, but you try to.
I don't.
command-
Yeah, I don't speak Spanish, but I'm trying to command a dude who only speaks Spanish. I don't know any Spanish. He's gonna be like, "Why are you waving your hands at me, bro?"
Right.
But in
Okay,
Spanish.
okay.
In Spanish.
Well, I'm
he's
so-
gonna say,
Waving
I'm
hands
sorry.
in Spanish.
yeah, waving in Spanish. So if I
Sorry,
can
you
speak
can do
Spanish, now I can speak a spell that he can actually interpret and be able
His
to do
Spanish
it.
mind can understand.
Correct.
I'm gonna
His
go with my
feeble
default
Spanish
answer,
mind.
like sure, whatever.
Okay.
Tell the owl.
So we have 2
Yeah.
yeses and 2 nos. I will tell you half of you are correct. So we will find out next week which half of you were correct, and I think you'll be surprised.
I also want to add, like as a DM, I think that I would allow like speak to animals and then persuade as a skill check, but I wouldn't allow another spell to be cast after that spell. That was like command.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I think for me it all depends on how long Speak with Animals is, which I think is like a minute duration. So if you've got a minute, that's if you're in combat, that's 10 rounds of combat that you can have.
Well, you
do
don't
another
really
spell.
use it out. It's more of an RP spell. But
Oh yeah, it's definitely an RP spell, but like if I'm fighting a group of rabid squirrels, and I use Speak with Animals,
Stop, guys! Stop.
and then use Command Animal,
This is nuts.
I would hope that it would work the next round.
But aren't
you know
they
what I'm
both
saying?
concentration
'Cause I'm able to
spells?
speak.
I will let you know. Speak with animals is a ritual. It is not a concentration spell. This might help you guys. It's not a concentration spell, and the duration is 10 minutes.
Yep.
Uh,
Rituals also take, I believe, up to an hour to perform,
Yep.
depending on the ritual. But some classes have ritual casting, which means they can just cast it at will.
Sorry,
The ROW, which is rules, or RAW, the raw, are the rules as written. Speak with animals in the language says what the spell does, allows you to communicate, blah, blah, blah. But at the end, the last sentence, which is very important, says you might be able to persuade a beast to perform a small favor for you at the DM's discretion.
A small favor. All right.
Well, then my answer completely changes.
Well, too late. You already put it out there.
We're going with yes. We're going with yes. Rar is right, Chode. Rar is right.
Rawr. So, yes, next week we'll find out. Like I said, half you right, half you wrong. We'll see.
Well,
Can't change now, so sorry.
Also, something else happened this week. I don't remember what it was. I think it was like what was it? Pals? Something East. I can't remember what it's called.
Paxies.
PAX?
Oh, yeah. PAX East. And it was right here in Boston.
Yes. The
Did
small
you go?
small trade show.
No, I wish I would have. So what we learned there, Key?
At PAX?
Yeah.
About what? D's and D's?
Are we still doing D's and D's?
No, I mean, I was going to go on to my favorite topic, which is Borderlands, but
Well, yeah, that's a lead in. It's called a segue. Randy Pitchford, PAX East in Boston.
so
Roll
yes,
for
at
confusion.
PAX, there was a small game announced, which everyone had been patiently waiting for. No one really was bugging anybody for it. Borderlands 3. It was announced during PAX, during the Gearbox presentation. Everyone lost their minds. This has been a long-awaited game. If you have any kind of social life or family life, I would get that time in now, because on September 13th, that all ends. You will all be stuck in front of your TVs or whatever's for the next foreseeable future.
sorry, but goodbye, Destiny forever.
Yeah,
as
goodbye,
soon as this
everything.
game comes out. Yeah.
Goodbye,
This
everything forever.
this game, I will post a link in chat here for the YouTube video, which is the launch video or the announcement. They did a quick teaser video during PAX, but the actual launch video is great. Shows there's 4 new classes that are coming to Borderlands. I'll touch on that in a second. They all look super awesome, super unique from what has been in Borderlands so far. Something I wanted to touch on real quick before I get into that was what was already mentioned earlier about the Epic launcher and the Steam launcher. So Epic struck a deal with Gearbox, and Epic launcher has a 6-month exclusive contract with Gearbox to have Borderlands only through the Epic launcher. This is going until April of 2020, so you cannot get PC version of Borderlands on anything besides the Epic launcher. No Steam, nothing like that. So get comfortable with the Epic launcher if you want to play Borderlands until April. I see this as kind of like what Solid said. I don't want to have all these launchers to play my games. I want to have one, and that's it.
You could just check install on desktop. The little button, just on install, you can just check it, and it puts the icon right on your desktop.
Sure. So the reason that I was reading up on some reasons why this would be, and I found an interesting quibbit here, and you actually touched on it earlier, Spectator, but your numbers were wildly wrong. I just want to correct them. Epic themselves only takes a 12% cut per transaction on the Epic store. So if you go on there, purchase Borderlands, 12% of that belongs to Epic now, as opposed to Valve, who takes a 30% cut out of each game sold on the Steam launcher. So as a consumer, it doesn't really affect you a whole lot, but as a game company, if I'm selling Borderlands 3 and 30% of that is going to the launcher instead of me, obviously I'm going with a guy that's less than half that. So the first 6 months of Borderlands 3, only 12% of the revenue is going to the launcher. I think it's a good move for Gearbox itself, because obviously it's going to make them more money. Great. Whether or not they get a huge influx of people are going to buy the game regardless of what launcher it's on. But it's just an extra step for some people to have to go to a different launcher.
I just scratch my source off my list. No longer using that because they gave completely wrong information.
Terrible source. Terrible. So
I mean, you're almost right. They do take about half of what Valve takes.
It is half. Yeah,
it's true. I appreciate you.
Right there.
That's what I meant, Solid. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Love you.
So September 13th is the release date. I wanted to touch on another thing that's important to me. That's important to a lot of your pre-order folks. Some people do not pre-order. They don't believe in that. Some people love the pre-orders for the bonuses and the extras that you do get. There are 4 versions of Borderlands coming out at launch. That will be the base game, and then the next one is the deluxe edition. The next is the Super Deluxe Edition, and the final being the Diamond Loot Chest Collector's Edition.
Adam wasn't here to hear all those. He doesn't know what he's going to buy his collector's box on now.
Well, he will not buy it because he will not. Standard game, as it sits, just the base game, $59.99, $60, as with every game ever. Good thing about the base game is you do get, obviously, the game, but you also get... If you do pre-order the base game, you still get the gold weapon skin pack and the weapon trinkets, which I don't remember there being weapon trinkets in Borderlands ever. I'm interested to see what that is.
Probably just things that decorate your gun, I would imagine.
I imagine, like, your
like Rainbow Six Siege does.
That's what I was thinking.
Keychains. So that's with every pre-order. Doesn't matter if you buy the base game or the Super Deluxe Edition or the collectors. You're going to get those 2 little items. These are all pre-orders are live now. You can actually get PS4, Xbox, and PC versions on Amazon. The console versions on Amazon, Best Buy, GameStop. The PC version you can get at GameStop and Epic's Game Store, which is all live now. The next version, which was the deluxe version, $79.99, so another $10. For your $10, what you'll get is a retro cosmetic pack. So that'll give you the Vault Hunter head and skins. Echo Device skin and weapon skin, which is going to harken back to the past 2 games and the Vault Hunters that came with them. You also get the Neon cosmetic pack, which probably is what it sounds like. You're going to get some bright neon skins.
Go on.
You're going to get the Gearbox cosmetic pack, which in Borderlands 2, they had Gearbox edition guns, which are just a little bit higher level gun than your base weapons. And they also have the last one, there's the last 2, Toy Box Weapon Pack and the XP and Loot Drop bonus mods. So bang for your buck wise, if you're going to pre-order either of those two lower end ones, get the $79.99 version, which will give you all that extra stuff for that extra $10. Sorry, $20. And that's the one to get for your $20. If you want to jump up into the big boy editions, the last two, Adam, this is where you're probably going to end up, and most, I believe, pre-order folks that want to buy a bigger version of this game will end up, is the $100 version, $99.99, super deluxe edition. The cover art for these games, PS, is amazing. It's just great to look and see at these cover arts. So with the super deluxe edition, you get everything that was in the previous games. Yes, Adam's doing it right there. You get everything in the previous editions. Your retro pack, your neon pack, the toy box weapons, the XP and loot drops. You'll also get the season pass, so that is going to give you access to the future DLCs that are coming out. Instead of having to buy them at launch, you can already have them purchased and just install them as they come. There's going to be 4 of them in the roadmap, so there's going to be 4 DLCs coming with Borderlands 3 eventually. And another thing that you get with this Super Deluxe Edition is the Butt Stallion cosmetics. So big character in the game was Butt Stallion, so Princess Butt Stallion. She would eat. It was what did she eat? What was the currency she ate?
Iridium.
Iridium, yes. And she would poop out weapons. So
good weapons.
You get a weapon skin, weapon trinket, and grenade mod with the Butt Stallion cosmetics. So cool edition. That's a good one. That's the biggest digital version you can buy. The next version, which is for your super hardcore collectors, which is the Borderlands 3 Diamond Loot Chest Collector's Edition, $249.99, so $250 for this thing. What you get with that is everything previously mentioned. You'll also get an actual physical diamond loot chest, which I don't know size of that yet. I'm assuming it's the size of a little lunchbox, I would imagine. You get 10 Borderlands 3 figurines, which are all of the Vault Hunters, 2 of the bad guys, and a couple other of the bad guys in the game. You get a Sanctuary 3 digital map. You'll also get a physical cloth galaxy map. So a bunch of stuff in that. You'll get lithographs, you'll get Vault Key keychains, and you'll get a Steelbook case. So if you're into the physical copies of games and you want the Super Collector's Edition, $250. I won't be getting that. I'm not that crazy of a collector. I'll be getting the $99 version like Adam did. If you have the money to go from the $59.99 to the $99, you get a lot of stuff because those 4 DLCs that are coming out will cost probably, I'm assuming, $15 a piece. So you will save money in the long run. And that kind of breaks down the 4 different versions. That's kind of a hot topic with every game that launches out because that's kind of the staggered release that'll, like Destiny 2 did this, and people are having a hard time deciphering which purchase to get because there are different versions of each. So wanted to go over that and clarify everything with the pre-order bonuses. Something else that I know a lot of people have been questioning, actually today, Gearbox put out the 4 new Vault Hunters, their names, a little brief synopsis of what they do, their abilities, their backstories. I wanted to kind of do a quick quibit on each of the 4 and see what you guys, in without knowing anything about the game, which one seems the most appealing to you. Mose the Gunner is the first. She is a commando, kind of like Axton from the second game, excuse me. What she does is she has a mech that she can summon, almost like Gage as well. His name is Iron Bear. He's a big old tank mech that you can summon. Basically, all her abilities revolve around demolition and empowering Iron Bear. So picture Gage, who is the Mechromancer from Borderlands 2, but now with a giant tank bot instead of an offensive version. And that is her kind of MO right there. The next, which would be Amara, she's the Siren. So if you're familiar with the Borderlands series, there's been a Siren, which is the kind of magic user in the group. And it was Lilith in Borderlands 1, Maya in Borderlands 2, and they were all kind of based around your magic powers and everything. Amara is actually a physical siren. So all her attacks are based around melee damage and empowering that with her siren abilities. And so I'd be interested to see where that kind of lands. Melee characters in Borderlands have been really niche. There's a lot of builds for like a Zero, who's the ninja from Borderlands 2. which is effective, but it takes a lot of setup, and it's a high skill ceiling kind of play style. It's not as easy to stab something as it is to shoot something in a looter shooter.
Is that the one with the 6 arms?
That is the one with the 6 arms.
So
the Shiva Siren. Interested to see how she plays out, and she's touted as the brawler of the group. The one that I'm interested in, his name is Flak, and it's FL4K.
Yep.
So he will be same kind of thing as Zero, which is like this kind of robot construct. He is the Beastmaster, and so his big thing is that he controls the beasts of the wastelands. So he can summon creatures. He can have them be by his side. Picture like a druid almost, where he can summon these animals and they fight for him as they tank. He comes to the side and uses mid-range weapons and grenades and kind of picks them off as his animals do the tanking. I think I'll probably go with that. That sounds like the most interesting play style to me. The last one, which I think Adam was kind of leaning towards, was Zane. Zane is they call him the grizzled veteran, and his jam is technology. So what he does is he can create holograms of himself to distract enemies. He can throw down robotic turrets that can actually, and like Axton, who had robot turrets, these can actually move. These turrets can walk around, they can shoot, and Zane's whole thing is technology and battlefield manipulation. So
you want guns that walk? We got you, boo.
He will certainly have guns that walk. So he has several gadgets, is what they say, attack drones, and like I said, that hologram to distract enemies. It'll be an interesting one. So out of those 4, is there anything that you guys are kind of at this point that sound interesting to you?
I'm
not. Go ahead.
I'm always in the even on Apex, I play Blood Hunter with short range weapons, so in the face DPS type of player. World of Warcraft, I play a mage DPS type of character. I always float towards that, so I like high damage. So that's definitely the character that I'll pick.
Yep.
All right. I'm not gonna lie, not a single one of those sounds interesting to me at all. Maybe the technology guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a real hard time in Borderlands 1 really figuring out who I really liked. Just because, I mean, like Brick was just the melee powerhouse, so that's just kind of what I went with.
I punch things.
I punched the initiative, yeah. Borderlands 2, though, I really fell in love with the Gunzerker because it was just all guns all the time, just constantly. I don't know. And out of those, I mean, the technology guy sounds really cool. I don't know. I'll have to see their gameplay to see which one was like, ooh, I want to play that one.
Yeah.
Well, you can't pick the technology guy. That's fine.
So Adam's calling dibs on Zane. That's already been established. So,
is there DLC characters coming out?
There has been. So I
picked them.
There you go. In the whether they're gonna be playable or not, in the Gearbox presentation, Tiny Tina, who's always been a kind of staple character in the Borderlands series, is now Teenage Tina. She's growing a little bit older. Whether or not she has a playable role in this game, I don't know yet. But she's always interesting. Her big thing has been demolition. She might be fun to play. Lilith also makes an appearance. She was the first siren in the game. Again, whether or not these are playable characters, who knows? Hammerlock's in there. Marcus makes another appearance, which is the gun vendor in the game. So,
is Brick there?
Brick is there. He plays the saxophone.
Yep.
I saw the saxophone in the trailer, but
yeah.
I don't even know if that's actually part of the game. I can't take half of that shit
seriously. The girl in Tales from the Borderland is in there too.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
both of them are the guy too.
Well. Yeah. Yep. Honestly, the more and more that I see of this game and how much that they're kind of pushing all these characters to the forefront. Not only are they going to be NPCs and it's going to be important quests and everything to the story. I kind of have a feeling you're just going to be able to play any of them.
Yeah. Well, that's how it was in Borderlands 2. I have many hours into Borderlands 2, and there's certain roles for each character, but I can play any of the characters on OP8 and be fine.
No, I'm saying you'll be able to play characters from Borderlands 1, 2 and 3, like all 12 of those characters.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I mean, it like as much as that they're like
Roland's
pushing
dead,
all
though.
these guys in. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple characters you can't be, but who knows? Maybe they'll bring him back.
Mordecai doesn't have his bird.
Scooter's dead.
Bloodwing's dead. No, Scooter's still alive. Scooter's a thing.
Catch
Yeah, all
a
the NPCs
ride.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, King, I would probably the last 2 games I've started the Siren class. I like magic, so to say. So I've always started with the Siren class. I'd probably give the Siren class, but this version of it is the least interested version that I could probably come across.
Right.
But I mean, ultimately, I'm kind of with Solid. The 4 out of the gate, I'm kind of like meh. The tech guy's kind of cool, but I haven't seen anything that really just jumps off the page at me.
Right. Well, good guys. That brings me to my last topic, which is on Borderlands 3. If you go to the actual Borderlands website, and you can actually sign up for their VIP program, free to do as long as you have a Shift account, which is also free. So go ahead and sign up for both of those. You can earn insider loot right now, and this loot, what you do is basically you just interact with the website. You watch videos. You can actually link your Twitch account to the Borderlands website, and it gives you points. You watch trailers on the site itself, and you read articles, and everything you do on the site right now is earning you points. These points, what they do is unlock certain things at launch for Borderlands 3. We don't know what they are yet. The site hasn't kind of gone into that. But it also unlocks things in the current Borderlands game. So if you guys are playing Borderlands 2 right now to get a refresher in your mind and to kind of build some hype for Borderlands 3 to come out, doing this VIP stuff on the website will earn you, I'm assuming, what will be probably golden keys through the shift code system and maybe cosmetics. But everything you do right now is earning you points that will give you stuff in game. So sign up for that.
Interesting. Yeah, I saw Baru talking about how he's like partnered with Borderlands, and he's hoping to have enough points to open 100,000 golden chests tomorrow. So
that's absolutely
ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's like, we're getting to 1 million points tonight because he was already at like 400,000 points when I looked at like 6 o'clock. So
yep.
That's insane.
That's it for me.
Yeah.
All right.
Borderlands 3 hype.
Super hype.
It's coming.
Hype.
It's coming.
Unbelievably excited for Borderlands 3. All right, great job tonight, gents. Where can we find you, King Dawes?
You can find me all over the internet. Christian dating sites. You can find me at KingDawes1, Twitter, YouTube,
FarmersMeat.com.
Whatever. Yeah, I'm there.
I Miss You. It's a Amish web dating site.
Oh, I was saying I miss you too.
Oh my god.
I miss you. I'll check that out.
It's fake. All right. Solid. Where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at SolidScorpionZ. I did one interesting thing before we go. I got tickets to Summer Games Done Quick here in Minnesota. It's June 23rd to 30th. I would really like to try and get some donation raising streams going. So keep a lookout for crowd control games and stuff. Me and King are gonna hopefully get our Pokemon stuff released here pretty soon that we've had cooking for a while. But yeah, so please just follow me on Twitter. That'd be great. I have cute memes. That's about it.
And sexy haircuts. Sectator, where can we find you?
Mixer, YouTube, Twitter, anywhere. Sectator Gaming. Handle's pretty simple. Don't forget to also follow us at Spawn Camp Co. on Twitter as well. Trying to get that, trying to bring you guys updates and news and reminders, stuff like that through the Twitter page as well.
A lot of good stuff going on at Spawn Camp Council. Poop Shizzle, where you at?
You can find me on Mixer at Poop Shizzle, or you can find me on Twitter at Poop Shizzle.
Okay. I am Adam 212. You can find me under that moniker just about everywhere. On Xbox, Adam 212 Mixer. So there's that. All right. Thank you for watching and listening. We appreciate you joining us at Spawn Camp Council. Hope everybody's had a wonderful cast tonight. We've had fun doing it. That concludes our cast. Check us out in 2 weeks for our next episode of Metagame. Until then, remember, once you've eaten prime rib for free, it's hard to go back to sucking down hamburgers for cash. If you know what I'm talking about. Dicks. I'm talking about dicks. Good night, everyone.
Bye.